Geek Cross. Hi, my name is Anna and I'm a singer.
Hi, my name is Peyton and I'm a dancer.
And today, what are we doing today?
Today, we are back with more Kingdom reactions, this week to episode 4.
So this week's episode 4 starts round 2, and for round 2, the challenge is called Reborn. So basically, to explain, teams will pair up and then they switch songs and then remake it into their own performance. But before we get into the reactions, as always, a few disclaimers before we start.
So the first disclaimer, the most important disclaimer, as you may have noticed, either from our community posts if you're subscribed to us, or if you have gone back and tried to rewatch our episode 2 and 3 reactions, we had to make a couple of changes. We had to trim some of the performances out so that we could leave our commentary public for everyone, because CJ, which is Mnet's parent company, retroactively blocked our videos on April 20th due to copyrighted content. And we have reached out to CJ. They haven't responded yet, but they have been good in the past about emailing us back when we've tried to contact them, so we're waiting. But in the interim, we're going to be doing some editing to the videos for this reaction so that they can stay public and stay in our video. We're not sure what yet. We don't know if it'll be filters, slowing it down, speeding it up, mirroring, some combination of it all.
Transparency, maybe I'll just put a huge giant strawberry over it. Who knows? Who knows?
Anna's creativity is allowed to run free. You'll still be able to see the performances, but our assumption is that if you're watching this video, you've watched the episode or at least watched the live stages already, so it'll be fine, it'll work out. But if you're wondering why the videos look a little strange, that's why.
Other disclaimers. As always, going into these reactions, we have not watched the episode beforehand, and we won't be pausing the performance while we're watching it, because in case you haven't heard it before, they should be viewed as and enjoyed as if we were the audience in full, start to finish, before focusing on specific comments, and also the story should tell itself instead of needing the rehearsal package background information. And we do watch the full episodes after we film the reactions.
As always, we'll be watching in episode order, or at least in upload order, because again, haven't seen the episode. So today it will be SF9, and then The Boys, and then iKON.
And then as always, for help navigating the video, there will be timestamps in the pinned comment down below. So let's go! Okay, so first performance of this week is SF9, and they switched with The Boys and chose to do The Stealer, The Scene. So yeah, let's go! Face Off.
Someone's out of line. Oh. Sorry, I'm really big on straight lines. It's a ballet thing. It's like a game kite?
Oh.
Oh, it literally is. Okay.
Yeah, no, I was like, that's why they're facing off. I mean, Peyton and I had been saying that out of all the boys' songs, this makes the most sense for SF9 to choose.
Who is it? Oh, I saw the profile. So he's back!
Chessboard.
Yeah. It's very movie.
Oh, I mean,
like
it's
noir
The Scene.
Oh, that's really cool how they've incorporated the gunfight into the choreography.
Oh, they're all holding guns?
I think so.
Oh, they are. Oh, there's people dancing on the boxes.
Oh,
or crates?
yeah.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
I've never talked about how much I like Chuho, right?
I know you haven't.
Cool, I do.
Same.
Oh. Oh. Oh?
What?
Oh? Oh, but they're doing live for this performance.
Oh.
Oh. Oh my god!
It is! It's like a noir film!
No, I was gonna say, they're literally like mafia in like the
Oh.
warehouse and the deal gone wrong or whatever. What happened to him? He looked so clean cut earlier. Dance break.
You know when those three come out, you're gonna get a dance break.
Oh, and also the neon green lasers. Oh,
I want to know what's in the box. Are they gonna show what's in the briefcase?
yeah, because we haven't really been able to see it clearly yet, even though the briefcase is see-through.
Yeah. Ah, stage fights. That was really cool.
Oh. Wow.
Someone just like jumped off.
Yeah, they rolled off.
Oh. Oh, this is recognizable choreography.
Oh. Nice guitar line in the back.
I like how they all look pretty like rough and beat up, but
And then Moon. I was thinking that too. I was like, it's the most put together.
he's the mafia boss, obviously.
Mm. Ah.
Oh, they stole their crown.
I get it.
I
Because they're
get it.
stealers.
I get
I
it.
get it.
I get it.
Oh, close-ups make me feel uncomfortable.
I was gonna say they're the SF9 visuals. They always
He's
show
like,
all 9
wait,
members.
Rowan is like the only one that doesn't have a scratch on his face too. You notice that?
Alright, so once again, the storytelling is very clear. Like, I thought their storytelling last week was really amazing. I think their storytelling this week is really amazing. I really felt like I was watching like a 1920s gangster noir film. And then obviously the heist, like what they had stolen, very, very pointed. It was the crown because the boys won Road to Kingdom and so they're stealing it. It's very ingenious, honestly. And then also just speaking of ingenious, I don't think I've talked in a video yet about how much strategy goes into prepping for the show. Because like, yes, all of the groups are supporting each other, don't misunderstand me, but they are also all aiming— are you eating more dog? Anyways, but they are also all trying to win. Like, that's the point of being on the show. And so there is a lot of strategy that goes into this in terms of like what you bring, what you take from other groups, that sort of thing. And I just felt like it was a very clear moment of strategizing when they started using the point of view thing with the arms that the boys had used in their round 1 stage. And it shows a couple of different things. Like, one, it does show that that was a very impactful decision from the boys because other groups like wanted to use it since it kind of shows like it's a video game, but also it felt like they were saying, yeah, we can play your game too. Like, we're doing your song and we're using something you've used. And I was like, oh, the strategy. Choreography, so obviously lots of changes, especially because so much of it was choreographed like an action movie. And like there was a lot of fighting in this, and the fighting is choreographed, and they had included turns, kicks that are a little bit more on the dance side, but for the most part it felt more like action movie choreography than dance stage fight choreography. And the nuances are subtle, and there's not like one that's better than the other. It's just that this was more appropriate for the concept that they were going for, and it makes it more impactful because it feels like they're really fighting when they're literally grabbing someone by like the collar and then throwing them to the ground. Also, I liked how in the opening fight, before they had started singing, you could hear like the breathing and the grunting because it made it feel more like you were in there, like you were watching it, you were part of the fight, especially because they were moving down the line. Also, dancing with guns. I thought, first of all, it just makes it feel so much more dangerous, which is what they're going for. But it changes a lot of the accents too, because there was a lot of like aiming and then popping moments, like they were shooting the gun. But yeah, no, I really liked the choreographic changes with the guns, especially when Youngbin, Chani, and Taeyang start, like when they first are doing the trio. That was a really impactful moment to me. And then obviously, like last comment, they did keep some of the recognizable choreography though, which I had expected. And that was really that last group dance moment, which I really enjoyed. One, because so much of it had been like walking, fighting, like changing of the briefcase, like showing the different parts of the set, that sort of brought it all together at the end in like a focused moment. But also they had changed the style of it to fit that more like SF9, like gentlemanly, like refined sort of dance feeling, which goes with what they're like sort of going for here. It's like that old time gangster that people think of, like the high class criminal. That's all I'm gonna say. Obviously I enjoyed it. Anna's turn.
Okay, so for my comments, I was thinking of all like the old Korean gang mafia movies, which is especially why, I'm just gonna get this out of the way now, I started laughing a little bit when Chuho started his part, because the line that he says, it's like in all the Korean like gang movies when like the mafia boss or whatever like says that line and like really strong satsuri. It's nice that they included that because it's like very on brand for their concept and like adds to the story even more. I also wrote down in my comments that all the fight scenes, and like this includes a lot of acting, honestly I feel like even more so than last week's performance. That really makes sense to me because like that's something that they're good at. Like SF9 is a group that's known for like having a lot of experience when it comes to acting, so use that for this stage. Talking about music a little bit, since it is like another group song, it's interesting to see how they made it a more SF9 vibe. It's definitely a little more like sexier. Like the original song by the boys is like brighter, a little funkier, but this one is definitely more grounded. Like I'm just thinking about the beginning when it's just Rowoon and Tawon singing. That whole section was just completely rearranged into an R&B vibe, and even like the first line that Rowoon sings, "I'm the stealer," that goes up, but then for the second line, like the pull that trigger, he goes down instead of going up again. So like already that's like bringing it down and establishing like the darker setting and like feeling vibe going forward. But then by the end with the final chorus, they are like singing pull the trigger like up, ascending as well. It's just good for like establishing the setting. Another thing that they changed that really adds to that is like there's just a lot of silence in this as like accenting moments in the story that they're creating, but also they establish a very like ominous feeling in the beginning where it's just this line playing pitches in half notes. So it's 1, 2, then change 3, 4, then change 1, 2, then change 3, 4. And then there's another moving synth line that's also doing 1, 2, 3, 4, changing every single beat. And like the way that those work together, it's obviously like very minor-y, which is already ominous, but like it's just, I don't know, it's like kind of creepy, which is the feeling that you're getting for this. I think my Ashuo moment is a few of their timing things for their like acting moments were slightly off, but I mean like that's just something that happens in live performance, and it's like barely off. I'm being really nitpicky with it. One thing is I'm really happy, like I mentioned in the reaction, that they had very noticeable clear live singing in this performance, especially like In-sung's solo part. High note, thank you for finally doing that. You can do that. Do it more. All right, that's all I'm gonna say because I spoke for too long, but yeah. Next.
So for the second performance today, we will be watching the boys doing their version of SF9's O Sole Mio, and they're doing the Red Wedding version. So we are keeping with the Game of Thrones story. This is like the only episode of Game of Thrones I've ever seen.
Can you explain to me what this is?
It's like a really bloody wedding. When you, like think of like Red Wedding.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Cool.
So let's see what they do.
I'm very intrigued by the fact that they chose O Sole Mio though.
Me too.
I remember when I heard this song for the first time.
You were in my apartment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
assuming.
Cage. Why is someone in a cage?
Oh my god, are they gonna do partner dancing?
Yeah.
It's a tango.
Okay, I had guessed by the music, but I wasn't sure.
I mean, like, kind of a tango. Watch your feet.
Oh, they're just watching?
Oh, that was cool how they came in. Oh. Yeah, it's very tango.
But the music they made less that way. Oh. His section felt more like a narration.
Her foot was pointed.
Oh. 뭐야.
Did the fire go out too early? Oh!
What is the black? Huh?
What?
Aang? The backlighting is cool. The music change.
What part you didn't sing? Yeah. It's like very aggressive partner dancing.
Wow. Oh, that's a cool shot.
Stage pictures.
Oh.
Yours. Hi, Tammy.
Wow. I like that harmony.
I really like this. There's so much more dancing in this stage. What is that?
이게 뭐야? 어? 아.
Yeah. Again, they love always dancing.
He just looks angry.
This stage had so much more dancing. My heart is so happy. I enjoyed the round one stage, like the storytelling, all of the props and everything, but the more I rewatched it, the more I was like, man, I really miss some of their like big epic dance scenes that they had in like Road to Kingdom stages. Like I was thinking about Danger and how that was really dance driven. And then this week they came back with something that was really dance driven, and it's like they heard my heart's desires, and I'm very happy right now. Oh, I will say though, I thought I was gonna understand more of it because I was like, oh, I've seen the Red Wedding episode, and then I was like, yeah, maybe I just don't know Game of Thrones well at all, so I'm a little confused, but I still enjoyed it. Tango, or at the very least ballroom for a wedding scene, like obviously tracks, makes tons of sense. And then when you think about O Sole Mio, tango makes a lot of sense, like the original choreography and the original song. And like the tango is known for being playful, but also for being really passionate. I felt like that was really showcased through both their group dances and also through like the partnering that they were showing, especially the one, like the second partnering that Jiyeon did with the female dancer before she went into the air, because that was like really intense and it almost felt sort of like a fight, like when they were flipping each other around and stuff. And then obviously they had tango-esque moves incorporated into both their group dances and then obviously into the partnering. Clearly the partnering, it's ballroom, but then in like their group dances there were lots of like hand to the ground, arm up, extended leg out. They went to their knee a lot, and like knee drags is something that you see in a lot of ballroom for male partnering, although usually in a passe doble, but that's different. Same sort of passion. And so it felt like they were really thinking about what would you expect to see in a ballroom dance and then trying to incorporate it into their more like the boys style dancing. And I think they did that really well. Obviously, my like ashiwo thing is that I just wish their toes were pointed more. That's my thing every single week, and it's only because I get on the boys for this so much because I've seen them do it. So do it again. I'm not gonna keep saying it until they do it. But like, especially, that's a big thing in ballroom too, like pointed feet. So especially since they had chosen this concept, I was like, you need to do it. And then if I wanted to be really picky, I could talk about like not stepping with your heel first because they were doing ballroom, but I won't be that picky because I don't expect you to master the art of ballroom dancing in like 2 weeks. Like, that's not fair. But they still did really well because one thing they did master was the stance, because the ballroom hold, like the way you hold yourself, is a little bit different. Like it's sort of up and like shoulders back and like chest forward. And I felt like they had really shown that through the way that they were holding themselves when they were walking and also when they were dancing. So give and take. But my last comment is stage pictures. The boys are back with their stage pictures. There were so many good ones. And I feel like because they had focused more on dancing, the stage pictures they made were more impactful because it was like a focus moment. A couple that stuck out in my mind are when Jiyeon's leaning out of the cage at the beginning, or obviously when the dancer goes into the air, but also when Sunwoo was in the bird cage and you were like, oh, it feels like a narration. I was like, this whole section, because of the dancers being dressed in fire and because of the concept and the way they're like wrapping around him, it felt like he was being engulfed in flames, which I felt was like really on par for the story that they were telling. And they do stage pictures so nicely. That's like one thing that they have as a strength. So I was really happy to see it and happy to see all the dancing, and I'm like, yee! Right now. So I'll let Anna go.
Okay, so time for my comments. I think I'm just gonna start with like my kind of a shame thing first. It's just like, I don't know Game of Thrones. So a lot of things on the stage were kind of lost for me. Like, it was really entertaining and I was like, I can see like there's a build-up happening and like the climax of the story and then like the conflict, all that sort of stuff happening. But I just don't know what it means because I don't know Game of Thrones. And I'm worried that that's gonna track for like their future performances, since they did choose like, I don't know. It's very popular, but also there are people like us that don't know it. Like, I'm still entertained, but I know that, like, if I knew Game of Thrones, I would probably, like, be, whoa, this and this and this. Anyways, moving on with my comments. So, in the reaction, I was like, oh, I wonder why they chose O Sole Mio as their song. Because originally, I was like, I feel like O Sole Mio is not a song that, like, pops into people's heads at the top when people think of SF9 songs. But when I think about it, I'm like, oh, but out of SF9 title tracks, this actually makes the most sense because, like, innately by itself, it's really good for, like, turning into, like, a musical sort of storyline stage. So I was like, oh, okay, I take back that comment that I said earlier. Anyways, once again, they used a lot of strings in this, which makes sense because, like, Game of Thrones, Kingdom, classical, strings, orchestra. Especially, like, it's only the strings in, like, the more tango partner ballroom dance sections in the cage. I think the transition of that is actually really interesting because in the beginning when they're dancing together, it's sort of like just the typical line that you think of. Honestly, I'm thinking of the opera where it's like da 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 da. That sort of song. It's that style. But then the second time, like when the female dancer is like lifted up, that time the strings are so chaotic. It's just like constantly like every single beat is divided into like triplets and it's constantly moving so many layers. And like I think that transition is like very fitting. And I also just think it's interesting how they use the bird cage. I'm sure it means something. But it's like a really cool stage picture. It was basically used for like most of the stage pictures that were left in my mind. So it's a really interesting choice in like how they can interact with like the bars around it and like going from one view to like the opposite view. And then my last thing that I wanted to talk about was Sunwoo's rap section, which I just find really interesting because like I said, it felt like a narration, especially in the beginning half of it, but also you can tell like this is really the turning point in the storyline. After that, it's like the plans are being put into action and like other things are happening, a lot of movement. But the strings behind him, especially in the beginning, when there's like no percussion happening, it's just the strings, it's really off-putting because it's just these really deep low, I think cello and maybe bass as well. They're playing like a da-dum sort of line, so it's like the falling feeling as he's falling and like reaching for something, so it's like da, I'm trying to catch it. So I just really liked that part. Anyways, and Sunwoo is a great performer, but yeah, anyways. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Next! Okay, so final performance for this week's episode of Kingdom is iKON, and they did an AT song. They did Inception iKON version. Self-explanatory titles again.
I was gonna say, I really like their titles. They're so straightforward.
Right? Alright, let's go.
I'm very curious. Oh my god, it's referencing the movie. Did you see the top?
I didn't watch this movie.
This is one of my favorite movies of all time.
깜짝이야.
Inception by iKON with the script. Oh my god, the set's like when they fold the world in half. Huh? So all of the moving sets, it's like how you can manipulate the dream in Inception.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, and it's like recognizable sets too. Amazing.
Oh? Oh.
And then they brought in iKON style.
Oh. Wow, effect.
The filter.
Oh.
It's like he's in a dream. Ooh, did he wake up?
Oh.
Bobby's such a good performer.
Oh.
He yawned. Oh my god.
Oh. What is this shooting out?
It's like, it's a movie reference.
I mean, I figured. Tell me
It's
later,
like when the dream
please.
starts collapsing and it starts like the world falls apart.
Oh, the
like
slow down like you're dizzy.
It's also right before. Yeah, okay. Oh my god, I'm living for this.
Wow.
So are they awake now?
Oh,
Who knows? Who knows if they're awake? So like I said, Inception is one of my favorite movies of all time. I also love the original song Inception, and I really enjoyed this stage, so let's talk about it, everyone. When we finished filming, I literally was like, iKON understood the assignment, and I stand by that. Let's talk about why. So one, this is supposed to be like reborn into your own style, and iKON has a very distinct style and sound, and this was done so well into remaking this into their style, especially with that like completely different chorus, like different lyrics, different melody, completely different choreography, and it's so iKON style, but also they were incorporating the movie, like they really stuck to that concept so well right from the beginning, because the lyrics are talking about like wake up from the dream, it's talking about like the turning, and there's lots of imagery for both of those in the chorus. Like there's a lot of switching imagery, and then also arms up that was reminding me of yawning, like you're waking up, which I only got after Bobby yawned, and like Bobby's such a fun performer. But like obviously turning imagery in the chorus, like I don't need to point it all out, it's pretty obvious, but the hands, there's the rolling arms, they literally are doing like barrel turns, which are the jump turn around, so really like consistent with the theme and concept that they've chosen, and talking about how they incorporated the movie into this. So the set with the moving pieces, fantastic idea, how they're manipulating them like they do in the scene, especially in the movie scene when they're first teaching Ariadne how to manipulate the dream, and she's like literally moving stuff with her hands and then changing things. And I just thought it created some really interesting stage pictures, and not just pictures but also dimensions. For instance, there was like the moment at the beginning when Jinwon like pushes backwards and like the stage moved with him, and you really felt that because the camera stayed the same, so it felt like you saw him falling into something. Or like when Donghyuk moves the wall and then Junhye is standing there like in the other part of the stage, since it's like a two-part stage. Also just other movie references, like when the set exploded at the end right before the lights went red and it slowed down, reminded me of when like the different layers of the dream are collapsing before the layer that you're in is ready to collapse. And you're like, oh, trouble, which is why the lights changed to red. When they slowed down and you were like, oh, it's like they're dizzy because of like the spinning and the top theme. I was like, yes. And it's also like before the kick, when everything has to line up, and like in the movie, it shows everything slowing down right before it explodes again, which is exactly what they did in their dance, because then sticking with their like iKON style, YG style, and how they've sort of been referencing all of like the YG traits in their songs, they also kept that like traditional iconic YG dance break at the end of their performance, which we've talked about in other reactions before, where a lot of YG groups have that sort of like last hurrah dance break. It's like a lot of jumping, a lot of really powerful movements, very like up into the camera, which feels like a party, and so it sticks with that whole like iKON just has a great time on stage. And I really saw that in this too. Like even though they are portraying the characters and the story really well, you can like see in their eyes and in the way that they're performing that they just love being on stage and having so much fun with this, which makes me love watching it. Like I was having such a fun time, but I really enjoyed it, if you can't tell. I have like major hard eyes right now. Anna's turn.
They're so cool. I literally said it at the end. I didn't realize that I said it until after it came out of my mouth. I was like, wow, 멋있다. Anyways, for my actual comments. So yeah, I did not watch Inception, as we know from the performance reaction, but like even without Peyton explaining certain things, like my mind can like infer, sort of like assume like, oh, this is what this is supposed to mean based on the things that were happening with the set and what they're doing on stage and the music. But anyways, yeah, iKON really did understand the assignment. because they made it so much their style. And yes, there are the really big obvious differences, like how they completely like made a new chorus. Also, there's very slight differences. So to highlight one of the slight differences, like right from the start, when Chanwoo is singing at the beginning, the I'm in Loves, originally in ATEEZ's inception, the song is counted in 4/4 time, and you start I'm in Love, the I'm, on the 3 of the measure. So 1, 2, 3, 4 on the 3. Chanwoo starts singing it on the and of the 2. It's a pickup, and it makes it feel slightly more syncopated, and syncopation is usually associated with like more rhythmic stuff, trendy, hip-hop, icon style. So I was like, whoa, even in small things like that. Also, but then like talking about the big noticeable differences like in the chorus. Also, you were talking about like the lyrics made it really obviously connected to the concept, like the spinning, because they're like, what is it? Like the porara pingy is literally saying spin, top, like a top is spinning. And then also they say that like we are 우린 돼지꿈 or something like that. So 돼지꿈 directly translates into a pig dream, like a dream about a pig. But in Korea, that's actually associated with like having really good luck. Good luck for the competition. Okay, I see you. Musically, like the original song is like very dreamy, obviously. I would associate it as being more of like a sentimental, like more contemporary song, but the way iKON did it is like very beat, deep bass, synth heavy arrangement. Also, I saw in the beginning that Mino from Winner helped arrange it. So that's really cool. One effect that they added in the song though that I liked was like, even with the beats, a lot of phrases, and they ended the song this way too, it's like a slow down, fade out ending for a phrase or a beat like that, which is like the whole dream sort of thing, right? Yeah. No,
not
it's
an
not.
Inception. They like up.
No, not waking up from the dream, but like you're in a dream.
Oh yeah.
The last thing that I really want to say, I love all of Bobby's ad-libs. Like, you can hear them throughout it so clearly. It's really refreshing in a competition show to have someone like that who so clearly is just enjoying himself on the stage. Like, it's not retracting from the performance at all. It's like enhancing it, but also it's really refreshing because, like, I don't know, the competition setting is just been like so heavy. It makes me feel happier, I guess. I don't know. In case you couldn't tell, I also really like this and also have major hard eyes. Anyways.
I TLDR'd Kingdom last week.
Okay, so then it's my turn to TLDR Kingdom this week. TLDR for this week's Kingdom reaction is we have started round 2 this week, Reborn, and the first 3 groups showed their performances, SF9, The Boys, and iKON. It's really interesting to see how these groups decided to take like the other group songs, which ones they chose to do, and also how they chose to rearrange it for their own style. But we can see how like they've taken the experience from now round 1 and the intro performances and how that's affected their performances for this round as well. So we'll see the next 3 performances next week.
But that being said, if you enjoyed this video and if you enjoyed our comments, let us know in the comments down below if you agreed with us, if you disagreed with us, what your thoughts on the performances were. But as always, please be respectful. All of the groups are working really, really hard and they're supporting each other, so let's all support them as well. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Bye!